Good morning. It's 1:10 in the morning. I'm at work. It's kind of quiet. I'm just waiting for my food to cool down that I've just cooked for myself, and I'm gonna start building another Raspberry Pi case. Well, another Raspberry Pi, project. But I'm gonna do things slightly differently. So, when I've built stuff in the past, I've used the same method again and again and again, and I've made a simple flowchart. It's really simple. Look. You follow this, and that's basically how I do things. First, I take the Raspberry Pi and I solder and desolder the Pi and the components to the unit, to the Pi itself, the motherboard. Then I add code to the OS and change the config.sys to make sure that everything I've soldered onto it and the bits that I've desoldered work. Then I've got the skeleton of the unit. Then I construct the case, and then I realise that I need extra stuff to make the case and finish the case, so I buy extra parts for the case. Then I give it a stupid name, which usually revolves around some kind of pun. My highlights include the Exodus Box 360, the Beastie Pi, the Keyline Pi, the Janus Pi, stupid stuff like that. But for this project, I thought I might do it in reverse. So start at the bottom and then work my way up. So the other day, me and Kenneth at Zombie Mole on Twitter were basically discussing building another Raspberry Pi. And he was saying, maybe you can build it into a Triforce or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, but why stop there? Why not just, stick it into a Flux CaPIcitor, knowing that he's massive into Back to the Future? And then that thought just kind of took hold. And I was like, well, let's just get a replica and then just stick a Pi in it. It'd be easy. Literally the easiest thing to do in the world. Grab a Flux CaPIcitor replica or like little collectible or whatnot, throw it in, and Bob's your uncle. Problem is that a full-size collectible is $500, and the small little collectibles are either A, too small, or B, out of stock. They haven't made them since 2014. So I was like, well, I think I can build it from leftover parts from my other projects. Like, there's a scene in Short Circuit where he builds a clone of himself out of the spare parts at the back of the truck. I think I can do that, because I've still got loads of spare parts left. This is just some of them that I'm going to need for this project. So the whole thing kind of centers around this. This is a spare case that I've got, which I got from the Pi Hut, and it's literally a black 3-piece clipped together case with a removable lid. So the thought took hold. I'm like, well, why not just cut this middle section out here and then replace that with the perspex I have left over from the Exodus box. So if I cut out this section here up to about here, go across the top of this, it will have a window in it. And that window will open up into here with obviously, a frame as well. And then I can put a piece of black plastic over there, and then I don't need to build those sort of Y-shape light pipes. But then I illuminate the light pipes with LEDs, which I have left over, and the light pipes themselves I can make out of the hinges or the hinge pins that go in the clear perspex hinges that I also built for the Exodus box. And then I thought, well, why stop there? Why not just put 80 style switches and micro switches on it, so I can have like a power on button and a light button and a light switch and whatnot from all the stuff I left over from the Janus Pi. And this is from the Keyline Pi. The only thing I can't fit in there is a fan, which I've tried to. It's too big. It's too big to regulate it. So then I thought, well, if the Y-shaped thing is going to be here, with all the LEDs and whatnot in it, I can maybe wire it underneath, so all the wires go to the back. And if I desolder the Ethernet port there, because you don't really need it, I can put a switch out here, like a big switch, maybe put the little switches on the front, and it'll have the window cut in. But then, as far as heat regulation goes, if I cut a hole at the top, and it stood that way, so when you're using it, you could actually see the thing coming out, heat would vent out the top. If I put the heatsink with the lines going that way rather than that way, it should vent out the top. So I've kind of got it in my head how I need it to be, and I've kind of got all the components for it. But if I do it in this order from the bottom to the top, I've got to start with a stupid pun, well, a stupid name that sort of is centered around a pun. So I thought about, what about the Flux CaPIcitor? Like the Flux capacitor, but the Flux CaPIcitor. And then buy the extra parts for the case. So I've actually only got one of these hinge pins left, even though I've got hinges still, because I actually gummed up the hinges with that clear acrylic, the clear plastic resin. So I don't actually, this is the only one I've got. I need 3. So I've ordered some more of these. Unfortunately, the people that made them before haven't got them. So I was hoping to do all of this for like £2. Because again, it's all going to be hand tools. It's all going to be bits from the pound shop and leftover parts. So I was hoping to do it for £2, but the guys that have made these have stopped making them. So that's about £3. So £3 for that. I've still got the LEDs. I've got all the wires, and I've got everything else. The only other thing I'm going to have to spend is £1 to get some matte metallic silver spray paint. And then that's basically it. I'm literally just going to cut the window, build the Y shape, put it in. I'm going to have 3 LEDs on the outer arms of the Y shape that are always on, and that's going to be connected to basically the 5-volt pins in there. So it will, as soon as you turn it on, it will light up. And then the middle, I'm going to basically with a cigarette lighter bend the ends down and then cut them. Just bend that in a little 90-degree angle, bend it down and file it so it will reflect light across it, and have that hooked up to the drive light. So it will be lit as soon as you turn it on, but it will pulse when it's accessing the drive light, which isn't hard. Then I'm going to cut a hole in the top for it to vent, desolder the Ethernet, and put a big switch on the side. And then that should, and spray it silver and cut a window in it. And then I'll have to find some way of making the little Dynatape. I'll use my daughter's got a little Polaroid printer. Maybe I can print it out with enough fidelity to stick that on. But then that should be it. So I'm going to call it the Flux CaPIcitor, which is a bit of a mouthful, but the Flux CaPIcitor. Buy extra parts for it, which I've already done. Then construct the case. Then do all the coding. And then stick the Pi in it and desolder the Pi and whatnot. So I'm going to do it backwards. And yeah, and then I'll just chronicle it on here. I'm thinking of maybe separating my Pi projects into different playlists, because this is all going in the same playlist. So it's just a bit of a mess at the minute. But yeah, so hopefully I'll have some new videos of me cutting and sticking and gluing and sanding and oh, God knows what else. But hopefully it should be, the case at least should be done in about a week, maybe a week and a half, he says. And then it's not. But yeah, so that's the new one, the Flux CaPIcitor, coming soon. All right, peace.